Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my YouTube channel Law Academy. In today's video, we will be covering Law GATS syllabus part, the one Constitution of Pakistan 1973. Its weightage is almost 10%, that means 10 questions are to be picked up from Constitution of Pakistan 1973 as well as the constitutional history of Pakistan. So my today's topic is just the fundamental rights that's included in the syllabus of Law GAT. So article number 8 to article number 24 are the articles that we are gonna be covering in today's video. So let's move on to today's topic. People, if you find this video useful or informational, kindly like it and subscribe to my channel, and please comment if you have any question relating to today's video. Well, I'll be making this video not by reading just bare act or just reading the fundamental right that has been given in the relevant article. So don't compare it with the original one. I'm just giving the main theme from my notes. First, people, let's just talk about what is fundamental rights, what they mean, bunyadi hukuk that are given to every human, every citizen of Pakistan. What are they? What is the definition of what do we call right? Right is to be called a power, a privilege, a title that someone may claim, that someone can claim legally, or that is morally due to them, that nobody can be deprived of his life, his liberty, his property, his freedom of speech. Everybody has that right peacefully. Is every person has been given a protection under the Constitution of Pakistan by the chapter that's called Fundamental Rights, that nobody at any stance can suspend them or derogate them. Right is basically an interest that is not only recognized by law but is also enforceable by law. When any person's any kind of fundamental right is violated, there is a remedy available in the court of law that you have to make it enforceable from a court of law. Here is the first article, that is article number 8, relating to the chapter of fundamental rights given in the Constitution of Pakistan 1973, that says laws inconsistent with or in derogation of fundamental rights to be void. That means that all the laws that are against the fundamental rights that are given in this chapter, that are in contravention of, that are repugnant to the fundamental rights given in Constitution of Pakistan, are declared null and void. They will have no execution or application in the country if they are in contravention of our constitution. It is very important as the laws that are made anywhere, that are made in Pakistan before the Constitution of 1973, or laws made even after that, if they are inconsistent or against or in derogation of or reducing the values of fundamental rights, are to be declared null and void, and they will have no applicability in any court of law or anywhere in Pakistan. Then the clause 1 of article 8 says, any law, custom or usage inconsistent with the fundamental rights to be void. Rasmo rivaj that have been taken the force of law, that are declared as agar iske against chale gaya, so that will be against the law, that will be unlawful, that has been taken in the mind of people as that it is the law, but it is just a custom or a usage that has been being followed for like years, and it has been adopted like as if it is law. So for that reasons, all those custom and usages that are against fundamental rights or in the derogation of fundamental rights they stand, then they are said to be void. They will have no applicability in our country. And the clause number 2 states, the state shall not make any law which takes away the rights. Any law so made thereby shall be void to the extent of inconsistency. That simply means that the state, the government of Pakistan or the legislature, whether provincial or federal, shall not make any law that is repugnant to fundamental rights, that is in derogation of fundamental rights, and it will be declared void. The laws that are made by our legislature can be challenged in our court of law, because if they stand against the constitution, and the constitution has given the right in article number 8 that if any law made by the legislature is against the constitutional fundamental rights given to people, then it will be declared null and void up to that extent of inconsistency by any court of law. Here comes the exception. Article number 8 clause 3 states the provision of this article, that article number 8 shall not apply to the members of armed forces, police or any other such forces charged with the maintenance of public order. दैट ये आर्टिकल जो है ये अप्लाई नहीं होगा उन लोगों के ऊपर जो कि मेंबर्स हैं आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के, पुलिस के और कोई भी ऐसी सच फोर्सेस लाइक रेंजर्स हो गए, डॉल्फिन फोर्स होगी, तो दैट आर चार्ज विद द मेंटेनेंस ऑफ पब्लिक ऑर्डर, लाइक पब्लिक पीस मेंटेन करने के लिए, पब्लिक लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को मेंटेन करने के लिए. और एनी लॉ दैट इज स्पेसिफाइड इन द फर्स्ट स्केड्यूल एंड द लॉज ऑफ पार्ट 1 ऑफ फर्स्ट स्केड्यूल, इनके ऊपर भी जो आर्टिकल 8 है उसकी कोई भी प्रोविज़न एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगी. नो सच लॉज टू बी वॉइड इवन इफ इनकन्सिस्टेंट विद आर्टिकल 8, कि कोई भी ऐसा लॉ दैट इज़ मेड देयर अंडर बाय मेंबर ऑफ आर्म फोर्सेस, पुलिस और एनी अदर सच फोर्सेस, और एनी लॉ दैट इज स्पेसिफाइड इन फर्स्ट स्केड्यूल or the laws of the part 1 of first schedule are not to be declared void even if it is inconsistent with the article number 8, because these are the exceptions given in the constitution, because there are some situation, there is some emergency when we have to suspend these rights somehow. Oh, and one most important thing is that within 2 years the legislature of our country shall bring laws of the part 2 of first schedule in conformity with the rights given in this chapter, in the chapter of fundamental rights. That so next article is article number 9, that says security of a person. No person shall be deprived of life and liberty except with according to the law. That means due process is required before depriving any person of his life or liberty. The crux of this article says that due process of law is, that is the basic and mandatory things to be done before taking any person's life or its liberty. Article number 10, it says safeguards as to arrest and detention. What are the safeguards that are available to any person when he is arrested or detained by any institution or any person? So its clause 1 says no person arrested shall be detained without being informed about the grounds of such arrest, that why he has been arrested by such institution, that he must be told about the reasons, the grounds on which he has been arrested, and nor shall be denied the right to consult and be defended by a legal practitioner of his choice. That right to consult an advocate or a legal practitioner would be all of his choice and no one can deny that to him. Clause number 2 says every person arrested and detained shall be produced before a magistrate within a period of 24 hours. Mean, what are the rights given under article number 10 to any person who is being arrested? 1, that he has the right to consult the legal practitioner, the advocate, any advocate of his choice to contest or defend him in the court of law. And the second one is that he has to be told the grounds for the reason for which he has been arrested by that institution. And next one, third one is that he must be produced for the nearest court of magistrate, in front of the magistrate within a period of 24 hours after his arrest. Clause number 3 states nothing in the clauses 1 or 2 contained apply to the person detained in preventive detention. So what is preventive detention? That a person who is an immense danger to the society, to the integrity, to the security, to the defense of our country, and if he has been taken out, he will be doing something that is really gonna be putting the integrity of Pakistan on the line. So in that case, that person has to be put in the preventive detention, and nothing in the clause 1 or 2 that he will not be told the ground of his arrest, neither he will be produced before a magistrate during a period of 24 hours, nor he will be given the choice to consult any lawyer or legal practitioner of his choice. So the rights that are given in the clauses 1 and 2 shall be suspended for the person who is arrested in preventive detention. Now moving on to the clause 4. Preventive detention shall be made only to the person acting in any manner that is prejudicial to the integrity, security and defense of Pakistan. Article number 10A is very important, the right to fair trial. Any civil right, any civil obligation or any criminal charge for any of such things, a person shall be entitled to fair trial and due process. Nobody can be charged for a crime that he has not been given an opportunity of fair trial, and no civil right or obligation can be created against or for a person without any kind of due process or fair trial. फेयर ट्रायल की अपॉर्चुनिटी हर इंसान के पास अवेलेबल है अंडर द फंडामेंटल राइट्स गिवन इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान 1973 आर्टिकल नंबर 10A. That if next one is article number 11, slavery, forced labor etc. prohibited. That means that all of the above said things, slavery, forced labor, are prohibited by Constitution of Pakistan. Now its clause 1 explains, no law shall permit or facilitate slavery in Pakistan that has been prohibited. कि पाकिस्तान में स्लेवरी की कोई भी गुंजाइश नहीं है, nowhere in Pakistan. So all the form of forced labor and traffic in human beings being prohibited. कि अगर ह्यूमन बींग्स की कहीं भी ट्रैफिक हो रहा है पाकिस्तान में, दैट इज़ स्ट्रांगली प्रोहिबिटेड एनी काइंड ऑफ फोर्स लेबर, द लेबर दैट हैज़ नॉट बीन डन बाय द पर्सन लॉफुली और विलफुली और विद कंसेंट. So that is forced labor, and that is also prohibited under the clause 2 of article 11. Clause number 3 states that the child below the age of 14 shall not be at any case be engaged in factory, mine or any hazardous employment. That a minor shall not be engaged, a minor especially under the age of 14 shall not be engaged in any factory or a mine or any space that is hazardous. The clause 4 states compulsory service, that is by the person who has been going under through the punishment for the offense against law. If he has been convicted or been imprisoned for the offense that is against the law, and for that reason if he is in compulsory service, then the right given in article 11 stands suspended. But then there is also an exception, that the punishment that he has been given must not be of any kind of cruel nature or of incompatible with the human dignity. He must not be given any kind of imprisonment or punishment that is against any human's dignity. Now article number 12, protection against retrospective punishments. That means that any person shall not be given any kind of punishment that is now greater and back then it was less when the offense was committed. The law that was prevailing by the time when the offense was committed, according to that law, according to that prevailing stance, that person shall be given the punishment according to that law, not by the law that has been governing now. Next article is article number 13, protection against double punishment and self-incrimination. What does double punishment? No person shall be punished for an offense more than once. If he has been acquitted or convicted for an offense, then again the same offense cannot be triable in any court of law again for the same reasons, for the same occurrence that was occurred. So no person shall be punished for the same offense more than once, and no person shall be compelled to be witness against himself. This is a principle of natural law too, that no person can be compelled to be a witness against himself. That is main purpose, that why should be a person giving any proof or evidence against himself to be convicted of that offense. Our next article is article number 14, inviolability of dignity of a man. एक आदमी की इज्जत, एक आदमी की इज्जत उसकी सब चीज़ों से बढ़कर होती है. So that means that dignity of a man stands above all and everything of his life, that he prefer death over being disrespected. So in that case, the dignity of a man has to be protected under the Constitution of Pakistan. So, and the privacy of home. and these are the rights that are inviolable, that are never to be suspended at any cost, and no person shall be subjected to torture for the production of evidence. Our next article is article number 15, freedom of movement. Every person subject to some restriction of the law is free to leave, remain, enter, move throughout Pakistan, reside anywhere or settle anywhere. And our next article is article number 16, freedom of assembly. Every citizen has the right to assemble peacefully without arms. Without arms mean without any ammunition, without any kind of things that are going to be cause violence. Due to any reasons, when the freedom of assembly has been suspended, it can be suspended under any law for the protection of the general public, or when there are being violences and unlawful assemblies are made against the government or against any other institution that normal general public has been subjected to torture by the natives or the citizens, and there has been protests that are turned into violence. So in those cases, the freedom of assembly, whether peacefully or whatsoever, stands suspended. Like during these days, the corona is on its peak, so now the people can be suspended of this right to assemble peacefully without any arms. Even peacefully, they cannot assemble at any gathering because of this virus or this disease that has been causing so many deaths. Next article is article number 17, the freedom of association, the freedom to form unions. So जो यूनियंस होती हैं या पार्टीज होती हैं वो बनाना जो होता है वो आपका राइट होता है अंडर द आर्टिकल नंबर 17. Every citizen is free to form union association subject to restrictions, because क्या होता है कि so that every political party shall account for its sources of funds, from where those funds has been given to that political party to work in our country, whether it's against the interest of Pakistan, whether it is in the interest of Pakistan. So they have to produce those evidences that where their source of funds come from, and those funds are either used for the benefit or country or their political party, but for unlawful or unethical purposes, that carrying out terrorism or counter attacks in our country. So now the article number 18 states freedom of trade, business or profession. So every citizen shall have the right to enter into any lawful profession, business or occupation and conduct any lawful trade, and that is also subject to restriction because there has to be a fair competition between people. So for that reason, some restriction may be applied under any law. Next one is article number 19, the freedom of speech, etc. Every citizen shall have the right to speech, express, and there shall be a freedom of press, that there will be a freedom of sahafat and the mass communication system, the media and the newspaper. But these also are subjected to some restriction that are not against the country's integrity or security of our defense, or not to disclose any material fact that is against the public's peace and order. Next one is article 19A, right to information. Every citizen shall have the right to access to information in all matters of public importance. That is also subjected to some restriction, like the volume number 10 of the GIT report in Nawaz Sharif's case, that I can say is a famous case in this regard, because right of information and access to that volume number 10 was not given to any person, because that would be against I guess the peace of public or general public. So very important. Article number 20, freedom to profess religion and to manage religious institution, subject to law, public order and morality. Every citizen shall have the right to profess, practice and propagate his religion. That means that everybody will be given a complete right to practice his religion and to profess its religion and to propagate and to transfer to other person and to tell other persons about his religion if it is not against public order and it is subjected to law and morality. Morality means ikhlaqiyat. If it is down that level of ikhlaqiyat, then there are these restrictions that can be made applicable. Next one is article number 21, safeguard against the taxation for the purpose of any particular religion that is not of the person concerned. No person shall be compelled to pay any special tax to maintain any religion other than his own. A Hindu cannot be compelled to maintain the religion of Muslims, and a Muslim cannot be compelled to give any kind of tax to maintain the religion of Hindu or any other religion. Article number 22. Safeguard as to educational institution in respect of religion, etc. That no person attending any educational institute be required to receive religious instructions or take part in ceremonies of religion other than his own. That a Christian studying in a Muslim school or any school be compelled to receive those religious instruction to study the Islamic religion or go for it, cannot be compelled to do so, and that student or a child or a person is not to be forced to take part in those religious ceremonies, that he cannot be compelled to fast in the month of Ramzan if he is not Muslim, and you cannot be discriminate against him on the basis of that he is a Christian or he is a Muslim in a Christian school. So no citizen shall be denied admission in any institution on the basis of race, religion, caste, or the place of birth. That these discriminatory things are to be kept outside of the ambit of Article number 22, that any person shall be granted admission if even he is of any race, color, creed, religion, place of birth. So that does not be. Next article is article number 23, provision as to property. Every citizen shall have the right to acquire, हासिल कर सके, होल्ड रख सके, डिस्पोज ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी अपनी जायदाद को बेच सके इन एनी पार्ट ऑफ पाकिस्तान. अगर उसकी पाकिस्तान में किसी भी जगह पर कहीं भी कोई प्रॉपर्टी है तो वो उसे अपनी मलकियत में ले सकता है, उसे अपनी मलकियत से ट्रांसफ़र कर सकता है. सो दैट इज़ ऑल अप टू दैट पर्सन अकॉर्डिंग टू आर्टिकल 23. सो ये उसका राइट है. Next one is article number 24, protection of property rights. No person shall be compulsorily deprived of his property save in accordance with the law. That any person can be deprived of his property accordance with the law, because when a decree has been passed against him in a civil case or in criminal execution of a sentence, has to pay the fine. If he has to pay the diyat if he has committed the qatl. So in that cases, that property of that person can be sold by the receiver that is appointed by the court for the disposition of his property. So by selling that property, that is also done accordance with the law, so that he can be deprived of his property. No property shall be compulsorily acquired for the public purposes except with the accordance and authority of the law. Has given the authority. And if the law has given the authority, so that that property can be acquired and can be used for public purpose, like a property that has not been used and that has not been claimed by any person as an owner, and no one knows that if he has been alive or has been died, has no legal heir, so that property is the property of the government, so that can be used for public purpose after a prescribed reasonable time that has been passed and no one has claimed it. So in that cases, again article number 24 can come into play. People, as you know that we are covering this law GATT syllabus, and today we have covered the fundamental rights, article number 8 to 24 of Constitution of Pakistan 1973, and the weightage given to the constitution part is 10 questions, and so I hope so that you will be clear with these articles. And if you have any confusion, any doubts about this chapter of fundamental rights, please write down it in the comment section, that I'll make sure that it is being understood by all of you. If you find this video really informational or useful, kindly do subscribe my channel and like this video. Thank you. Thanks for watching.